Lesson. I also welcome Dr. Nitin Krishnan Sir, Associate Professor, Department of Rog Nidan एवं विकृति विज्ञान, SGT University Gurugram, to co-chair the session. स्वीकार आमंत्रण किया, रखा हमारा मान, कैसे करें कृतज्ञता, स्वागत है श्रीमान. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Nitin Krishnan Sir to introduce Dr. Prasanna Mogasale Sir to august audience.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Without wasting much time, I'm introducing our resource person, Dr. Prasanna and Mogasale sir. He has completed his post-graduation from Government Ayurveda Medical College, Mysore, in the specialization of Kaya Chikitsa. Presently, he is working as Associate Professor, Department of Rog Nidan, Sri Dharmasthala Manjunadeshwara College of Ayurveda and Hospital, Kudpadi, Udupi. He is having a very vast teaching experience of 23 years for undergraduates and 21 years for post-graduation. And he has guided 16 PG students and many PhD scholars. He has published many articles, attended as resource person for more than 35 conferences and workshops, and notably he has been the member for NCISM Rog Nidan Evam Vikriti Vigyan Syllabus Review Committee and a faculty member for RGHS. And he is having a very good clinical hand and a renowned academician throughout the country. And without wasting much time, I invite respected Prasanna Mogasale sir to continue for the session.
Am I audible? Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. It's very difficult to engage the students, not only students, even if I'm on the other side of the tracks, for me also it's very difficult post lunch. So इधर लिखना है.
अगर मुंह करके हाँ वही
इसको भी लगाना है. Right. Thank you. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers, Mahayogi Gorakhnath University, for inviting, for giving me an opportunity in this great dais. I'm very proud to say, and one of the first resource person in this new auditorium. I'm very happy for the same. And of course, I would like to extend my thanks to Vice Chancellor. Right. Yes, sir. Vice Chancellor Major General Dr. Atul Kumar Vajpayee and Registered Dr. Pradeep Kumar Rao sir. Also, I would like to extend my thanks to Hospital Director Colonel Dr. Rajesh Bahal sir, Principal Dr. Manjuna sir, for giving me an opportunity to share my views regarding the topic, the impact of Nidana on Shrotas. You will be wanted to see a picture in the as the first slide, and there is a Brahmin holding a goat, right? First slide. First slide. First slide. So this is that. Right. Right. This is back. And pointer. Yes. Yes. Holding a goat on his shoulder, and you will be. I think it is not his big story. You know, this is when we were very young. Grandmother used to tell this story. This is from Panchatantra. The Brahmin and three thugs, right? So you know that Brahmin was cheated. Brahmin was cheated by saying lies. So I have modified this. So a false told often enough becomes the truth. A false told often enough becomes the truth. So Brahmin was told, why you are holding a dog or a dead a calf or a pig. Then ultimately Brahmin left the goat, ran away. But what the theme here is, if false is repeatedly told, we believe that that itself is the truth. So I try to clear certain issues as per my understanding of the science. So hence my topic, today's topic is Sroto Dushti, demystified. So what is demystified? So what is demystified? Demystified means removal of confusion surrounding the topic. And as I told in the morning session, we believe that in the science, the Indian philosophy as well as Ayurveda believe that either and either can be said in either way. This is one of the way to explain the science, right? So demystification in this presentation, demystification is all about Shrotas, Sroto Dushti, Srotas and Nidana, Dosha Hetu and Vyadi, Vyadi, Nidana and Purusha. With this, the topic is covered, that is impact of Nidana on the Srotas. The first one is Srotas. Antasrotamsi Jivitayatanani. This is one of the beautiful reference by Vagbata, that life depends upon Abhyantara Shrotas. Life depends upon Abhyantara Shrotas. Why such an importance is given to Abhyantara Shrotas? We will try to understand this. So we know a lot of information regarding Shrotas. Much of things are emphasized in the morning session. And here we know that 13 Shrotas, 11 past Shrotas, and of course very clearly said, dosha and manas doesn't require any specific Shrotas, as they can traverse in any Shrotas. That is very clearly described in the text. So this is all well-known factor. I will not be elaborating, but there is one beautiful reference from Vagbata, that is senior Vagbata in Ashtanga Sangraha. He says, Tatra Srotasam meva vishesha sira damanyah. Srotasam meva vishesha sira damanyah. That is, sira and damani are variables of Shrotas itself. Now, why he said so? Why he said so? There are reasons, because you know this is a description from Vagbata. Vagbata is amalgamation of Charaka and Sushruta. And the Sushruta says, one of the commonest characteristic feature is Akashi Avakashana. The anatomical description. This is an anatomical description. Akashi Avakashanam Dehe Namani Dehinam Shiras Kotamsi Marga. So that is, all these are having common characteristic feature, that is Akashi Avakasha, empty. There is a Avakasha. right? And some other literature related with the physiology and altered physiology, that is pathology. He says, Sira Damani Srotasam Avibhagah, Sira Vikara Evahi Damanya Srotamsi Chet. So, differentiation between Sira Vikara, Damani Vikara, and Srota Vikara, sometimes it is difficult clinically because of overlapping manifestation. But if you go through Charaka, there is one beautiful description that is all about the synonyms. This particular synonym is a breakthrough for this particular understanding. What Charaka says, Sira, Srotamshi Sira, Damanya, Rasayanya, Rasavahinya, Nadya, Pantana, Marga, Sharira Chidrani, Samrutani, Asamrutani, Stanani, Ashaya, Niketas Sharira, Dhatu, Avakashanam, Laksha, Alakshanam, Namani, Dhavanti. This is a synonym which we study right from our UG class. But the breakthrough was given by Chakrapani. He understood what Charaka said properly. And Charaka has arranged these synonyms in such a way that the first line in this presentation, first line is all about the Margaga Shrotas. It is all about Marga Shrotas. The term Marga Shrotas is given by Chakrapani. And the second line, Sthanani Ashaya to Laksha Alakshanam, that is all about Sthanasya Shrotas. And Chakrapani further says, Sthanasya Shrotas is nothing but Damani Mula. That is Sthanastha iti Ashayastha. Sthanadi Paryayan Kechit Damani Mulasya Paryaya Nachakshati. So it is Damani Mula. And further, Margagaschaiva iti Damani Bhir Gachanti Anyetu Yetanapi Damani Paryayana. So such a beautiful description is given by Chakrapani. So that is Sthanastha Shrotas and Margaga Shrotas, and Shrotas are categorized in these two domains. Further, Charaka said, Apicha eke Srotasamneva samudayam purusham ichanti sarvagatatva sarvasaratva cha dosha prakopana prashamanana. So that's the reason Charaka understood what is Shrotas. That's the reason he says, Apicha eke Srotasam samudayam. Living animal is multitude of Shrotas itself. That means why it is so multitude? He says present all over the body, Shrotas present all over the body. Everything moves within this only. Both physiology and pathology depends upon Shrotas. And further, after saying this, Charaka contradicts his own statement. He says, Natu yeta devam. It is not true 100%. It is not true exactly. If you keenly observe, on a closer review, they are not Damani itself. Right? So he says, Natu yeta devam sarvam tad anyat. They are different. They are different by some one or the other way. How they are different? He says, Yasya hi sutamsi yaccha vahanti yaccha avahanti yatra cha avastitani. So we will elaborate one by one. The first one is Yasya hi sotamsi. What is Yasya hi sotamsi? Yasya hi sotamsi yat gatitani itya. By which it is formed? We know all Shrotas are formed by, most of the structures within our body is formed by Rakta. It is very clearly said in Sushruta as well as both the senior and junior Vagbhata. That is Garbhasya Kritihano Shonitajo Shonita Fena Prabhavaha Pupusa Shonita Kitta Prabhava Unduka. This is just one example. We have a detailed description. Further, the Arunadatta says, Eshu Raksadi Adareshu Postangani Udaradeva Radayani Stitani Ashitani. Almost all the structures are invariably made up of Rakta. And when we say Rakta, it includes Rasa also. It includes Rasa also because Rasa and Rakta are inseparable. I will explain in the next slide. And apart from this, Rakta also refers to, in the context, it also refers to Mamsa. Why it is Mamsa? Because Dvitiyaha Raktadara Nama Mamsasya Apyantaratha Tasya Shonitam Visheshataha Siraha Yaktiha Yakritsu Bhavati. Of course, we know Yakriha are the Mula of Raktavashas. We all know, right? And this Rakta is Rakta moves in a Shonitam Visheshatascha Sira. It moves in a specific Sira. Okay, in this context, he uses synonym Sira. Okay, and where it moves, he says, Mamsasya Apyantarata. It moves within the Mamsa. Right? It moves within the Mamsa. That's the reason Hindu says, Nahitaya Vina Mamse Raktam Bhavati. The very existence of Rakta depends upon Mamsa. The very existence of Rakta depends upon Mamsa. So all the structures in the body is made up of Rasa, Rakta and Mamsa. And I said, why Rasa? So that is the next point. So now, Yacha Vahanti is the next reason. Yat Gatitana Ityartha is over now. Yacha Vahanti is next reason how they differ. He says, Yacha Vahanti iti Yat Rasadi Vahanti iti Artha. Yat Rasadi Vahanti iti Artha. So something is moving. What is that moving? Rasadi. It is not only Rasa, it is more than that. Which are they? Vyanena Rasadhaturhi Vikshepotita Karmana Yugapa Sarvato Ajasram Dehe Vikshipate Sadaha. Charaka says Vyanena Rasadhaturhi. We know that Vyanasthana is Hridaya and Rasasthana is Hridaya. Okay, now it is very clear. Vyanavata takes Rasa all over the body, thereby normal functions are maintained. And this particular function is Sadaha. There is no pause. Okay, if there is pause means that is a death. Okay, now he says Vyanena Rasadhaturhi. What is Rasa here? Rasa means Raso Rupo Dhatu. Rasa means only Dhatu. What is that Dhatu? He says, Kimva Rasati iti Raso Drava Dhatu Uchate. Rasa refers to Drava Dhatu, it's not actual Rasa. Then what it means? Tena Rudiradinam api Dravanam Dhati. Rasa in this context, it is not only Rasa, it is Rasa, Rakta and some other. Adi, anything. Why we have to, in my slide, I have mentioned even Udaka also. Udaka also. Why Udaka also? That I will explain here itself. Now, why Rakta? It is once again, Vagbhata explained this. Vyano Radyavastitha Krishna Dehachara Shikratara Gatir Gatir Prasanna Kunchano Kshepana. Like this he says, and he says, Sveda Asrik Sravana Adigriha. Asrik Sravana. Asrik Sravana is facilitated by Vyana only. Rakta Utpatti is all about Ekripliha, but its Sravana is by Vyana and Vyanasthana is Hridaya, and it's very clear from that. Okay, so and he says in this context, Sveda Asrik. Sveda also moves by the help of Vyana only. That means Sveda is also there along with the Rakta. Now, if you go to Sushruta, Adogadamani, in the context Adogadamani, Dallana says there are two Annavahinishchadamani. There are two Annavahinishchadamani. These Annavahinishchadamani, they take the Ahara Rasa from the Annavahidamani, and that is going to fill the Hridaya. Rasasthanam cha Puranam, that the description, Rasasthanam cha Puraya. So Rasasthana is Hridaya. Okay, then in that context, Dallana says, Ve Annavahinyaha Antrashite, Antra is Pittashe, in between Pittashe. That is in between Amasha and Pachamanashi. In between that he says, Antrashite, Nahi Pittashe Rasa Mutra Purisha Bhavena Vipacchamanasya Aharasya Anna Bhavo Asti Napi Toyasya Toya Bhavana Tena Toyam Atra Bhavishyato Mutrasya Karanabhutam Pakvahar Vekajam Dravam Ayam Udakam Yodakam. He says, at Pittashaya, there is no segregation of rasa and ahar rasa and the waste, liquid waste, and even the purisha for that matter. Once the Ganamala reaches the Unduka, then only it is called as purisha. Till then it is purisha bhava, which is there in the Pittasha, purisha bhava. When it reaches the Unduka, then only it is purisha. Similarly, in the Pittashaya, it is Ahara Rasa, which contains Rasa Bhava, Rakta Bhava, everything. And it contains Udaka. That Udaka is, it is not the pure Udaka. That is, Napi Toyasya Toya Bhava. It is not pure Udaka. It is Toya Bhava only, which contains Mudra also. That's what he says, Tena Toyam Atra Bhavishyato Mudrasya Karanabhutam Pakvahar Vekajam Dravamayam Udakam Yodakam Tad api de eva vahataha Tadu eva udakam basti vivara praptam mutram. When that udaka reaches the basti vivara, then only mutra is formed. Till then it is only mutra bhava which was there along with the rakta. So mutra, sweda, rasa, rakta, all these are moving, and mutra, sweda are kleda, and these kleda are dissolved in the udaka. These kleda are dissolved in the udaka. That's what udaka Shuddhas is talumula kloma. Everybody, right? Udaka talumula kloma agree, but sweda doshambu vahini srotamsi samadhishtitaha antaragnescha parshvata. Udaka Shrotas has a root in the intestine. Right? Antaragnesya Pashas. So Udaka is linked to intestine. Udaka Shrotas is linked to Udaka intestine. So that's the reason Yaccha Vahanti refers to Rasa, Rakta, Udaka, Sweda, Mutra. That is moving together. It is moving together. That is nothing but what we can compare arteries. Right? Now, of course, there are some other Shrotas. They are exceptions. That is Prana, Anna, Mutra, Purisha. They are just channels. They are just channels carrying specific content. Further, Yacha Avahanti is the next reason given by Charaka. Yacha Avahanti iti, Yacha Pushyanti iti. That which is going to nourish. Of course, nourishment is by rasa only. Pridanam, Jivanam, Lepos, Neho, Dharana, Purne, Garbhodpadasya Dhatram. This which we have studied in first ggims, right? So that is Pridanam. Nourishment by rasa only, right? And you may have an objection because we have studied rasa is going to nourish rakta, mamsa, from mamsa to meda, all that we have studied. Of course, there is another principle told in the textbook, that is ekakala dhatu poshana nyaya. We have to accept ekakala dhatu poshana nyaya. As per ekakala dhatu poshana nyaya, nourishment by rasa, and it holds good for better understanding of the science. Right? We have so many nyayas. Whichever is good, we have to take, right? Then, further, the body is made up of udaka, right? Deho rasajo ambubho. Charaka said long before, Deho rasajo ambubho. Krishna Chikisa, Charaka said. Now Hema Malini comes in TV and she says, body 60%, right? Add 60% is fluid. But Charaka said long before, Charaka said, Deho rasajo ambubho, right? That's what. But the hardest substance in our body is asti. Hardest substance in our body is asti. And within the asti, the asti, there are some shrotas, and these shrotas are going to nourish the asti. That's very clearly identified by Chakrapani. He says, Astyapi dravarupam astyeva sroto vahyam iti kratva asti vahanam iti uktam. Asti is nourished by liquid media only. That means rasa is nourishing whole body. Further, yatra chavastitani iti yatra mamsadau sambandhani. That means the rasa raktadi, it is having contact with some structures in the body. So how that bondage? So that is yatracha avastitani sarvehi bhava purushena antarena srotamsi abhinirvartayante shayam va api gachanti. This is what very clearly everybody knows. So all the bhava, nothing but shrotas. That means shrotas is all over the body, and it is nourished by rasa only. It is nourished by rasa only. Tatra panchabhautikasya chaturvidasya षड्रसस्य द्विविधवीर्यस्य अष्टविधवीर्यस्य वा अनेकगुणस्य उपयुक्तस्य आहारस्य सम्यक् परिणतस्य यस्तेजोभूतः, the essence of food, यस्तेजोभूतः सारः परमसूक्ष्मः रस इति उच्यते. तस्य कृष्णं शरीरं महारस्तर्पति. This is going to nourish the whole. This is going to nourish the whole body. Tasya shariram anusarato. Whole body depends upon that rasa only. Whole body depends upon that only. Tasmin sarva sharirāvayava dosha dhatu malashaya anusarini rase. Dosha dhatu mala, everything depends upon rasa, means rasa is nourishing all the whole body itself, and rasa is connection with the each and every paramanu present in the sharira. So how it is present? It is with the Mamsa Meda, it is in association with the Mamsa, Meda, Asti, Majja, Shukra, and Prana, Anna, Udaka, all Shrotas, just like a capillary bed. Its association with the capillary bed. With this, for the Sarvam Tad Annebhya, Tad Sarvam Damanibhyo Anyat. So that's the reason it is not only Damani, it's something different. So summarize, Margaka Shrotas, that is Rasa, Rakta, Udaka, Sweda, Vahasrotas, they are mostly artery and sometimes some are overlapping descriptions, sometimes even the vein, because Annavahasrotas, that is a way, once again, the portal vein comes like that, Annavadamani, the portal vein. So it comes like that. So mostly they are artery and somewhere it is vein also, some overlapping information. Then Sthanastha Shrotas, Mamsa, Meda, Asti, Majja, Shukra, Prana, Anna, Purisha, Mudra, Vahasrotas has capillary bed, that is Sthanastha Shrotas. And once again, Margaka Shrotas, Prana, Anna, Purisha, Mudra are channels made up of Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Meda once again and has a capillary bed in it. So with this, the understanding of Shrotas is very essential to understand Sroto Dushti. So normalcy, Tadetat Srotasam Prakriti-bhutatvat na vikareir upasrajyate shariram. So hence normalcy of Shrotas keeps the ill health away. So this is about the Shrotas. Now moving on to Sroto Dushti. Sroto Dushti, Tat Dukkha Sanyoga Vyadaya Chante. We know that synonym of Vyadi, illness, is Dukkha. What is Dukkha? What is Dukkha? Dukkha has two letters. One is Du and another is Ka. Du refers to Dur Dusthani. Du refers to Dustha. Ka refers to Shrotas. You know that it's a synonym of Shrotas. Dushta Shrotas, that is Dukkha. Dushta Shrotas is Dukkha. That's it. So that is abnormality of Shrotas itself is responsible for all the miseries of human life and animals. Ahita sevana tani dustani rogaya visuddhani sukhaya cha. And here in this context, the commentator says, Ahita sevana means Ahita ahara viharadi nam sevanat. Tani means Srotamsi, Dustani Rogaya something. So Ahita Ahara Vihara, which brings about derangement in the Shrotas, thereby disease. Right? And how it is perceived? It is perceived by dosha lakshana itself. Because Ahita Ahara Vihara is going to vitiate the dosha, and dosha is going to bring the derangement in the Shrotas. So it is perceived, that's very clearly said. Tesham Vijnanartham Doshati Vijnaniya Ukta Avagacchi. That means Ahita Ahara Vihara results in Sroto Dushti reflected as Dosha Dushti Lakshana in related with the specific Shrot, in related to specific Shrots. Then this is one very important sutra from Charaka. Srotamsi eva datavascha dhatu neva pradushyanti pradushtaha tesham sarvesham eva vatapita sleshmana pradushta dusha itaro bhavanti dosha subhavaditi. Very important to understand the diseases. Srotamsi eva datavascha dhatu neva pradushyanti pradushta. Srotas, so the very translation, a Srotas is going to vitiate another Srotas. Similarly, Dhatu. So Dhatu is going to vitiate another Dhatu. But the commentator, Chakrapani clear said, she says, Srotamsi Datavascha Dushta. Pratyasannani Srotamsi Dhatvantarach. So one Shrotas is, there is derangement in one Shrotas means that Dhatu is vitiated. Corresponding Dhatu is vitiated. And Pratyasannani, nearby Shrotas, over a period, nearby Shrotas gets vitiated. And thereby disease is spreading to nearby dhatu. Srotamsi eva dhatavascha dhatu neva. The important thing is pratyasannani srotamsi. Pratyasanna, nearby. The disease spreads to nearby shrotas. So rasava shrotas nearby is raktava shrotas. Like that we have to understand, right? And how does it take place? He says, Tesham sarvesham eva vatapitta shleshmanam pradusta dusha itaro bhavati. So it is all because of dosha only. Not the Shrotas itself is vitiating another Shrotas. It is dosha spreads to nearby shrotas, not the shrotas deranging another shrotas, right? So he says, here the commentator says, Swadosha Sankranti. What is this Swadosha Sankranti? Dosha here refers to the previous shrotas is affected by one dosha, and same dosha is responsible for vitiation of another shrotas. Here you have an example. So now the example from Kamala. Example from Kamala. And you have this is Pandu and Kamala. You know, everybody knows regarding Pandu and Kamala. Now the description Pandu rogiti tertam pittalani shivati tasya pittam masak mamsam datva. You know that Kamala description. Pandu rogiti tertam pittalani. So all pitta. Kamala is because of pitta, right? And it is because of Panduroga. The next stage of Pandu is Kama. So Pitta and from Rasa to Rakta. Very easy. Srotam seva Dhatavasha Dhatuneva Dosha. Right? Now further, we know that this particular description related with the Kosha Shakashita Kamala, we know that Kosha Shakashtaya Bahu Pitta Panduroga Purvika. It is all about Kosha Shakashita, not about Shakashita Kamala. Right? Okay. With this background, we'll move on to the description of Pandu now. Now, if you go through the Pandu Samprapti, dosha pitta pradanasta yasya kopyanti dhatushu shaitilam tasya dhatunam gauravam cha upajayate. So that is the Samprapti, and there is another Samprapti behind that, that is Samudurnam yada pittam, all once again pitta. So now with this it is very clear that Pandu Kama, very clear, but it is not so. If you are very keen about this particular description, you have to look into the types of Pandu. Which Pandu? Next question is which Pandu? Vataja, Pittaja, Kafaja, Sanipataja, that we have to work out. Now, if you go through the Vataja Pandu, Ahare, Rupacharescha, Vatale, Pito, Anila, Jane, Krishna Pandu, there is no specific pathogenesis explained for Vata. Similarly, the Kafa, Vivruddha, Sleshmana, Sleshma, Pandurogam, Sapurvat, Karoti, Gauram Chandra. So here also Kafaja Pandu, once again, no such description, specific Samprapti for Kafaja also. But if you are very keen about reading the text, so because everyone reads text. Sometimes when we read text, we read just like a newspaper. We read and we argue. We don't go in between the lines. So that's the thing. Here in Pitta Pandu, very clearly Charaka says, Pittalasyachitam pittam yatoktai swe prakopanai dushayitva tu raktadi. He brings the term dushayitva tu raktadi. That means Pitta Pandu in the future date, I mean over a period, is going to produce Kamala, that is Kosha Shakashta Kamala. Now, is it only Pandu? Sometimes we come across with the history, the clinical practice, fever, viral fever, a febrile illness followed by jaundice, right? So what is this? This particular description doesn't hold good. So we have to go through another text. Yo amayante, sahasa, annam, amblam, adyat, apatyanicha, tasya pittam. This is a description from Sushruta regarding Kamala Nidan. Yo amayante, what is amayante? Amayante, that clarifies. Amayante, Pandurogante, Anyarogante. Pandurogante and Anyarogante. Anyarogante means what? Srotamsi eva dhatavasya dhatuneva. And Rasapradashi Vikara. Pandu is Rasapradashi. From Rasa to Rakta. Everything from Rasa to Rakta, isn't it? Srotamsi. Using that principle, Ashuddhasya Ruchishya Arsya Varasa Rasajnata. No, all this because of Kapha dominance. No, this Ashuddhasya Ruchishya cannot lead to Kamala, right? Panduta Srotasam Rodha. Pandu is already Srotasam Rodha. All this cannot once again Srotasam Rodha once again come, right? But Jwara comes in the list of Rasapradashi. Jwara comes in the list of Rasapradashi Vikar. So Jwara followed by Kamala. So Jwara is Rasapradashi Vikara. Kamala is Raktapradashi Vikara. Jwara once again we have to consider Pitta Jwara results in Kamala, that too Kosha Shakashita Kamala. Next. So now, already explained, Ahara Vihara response for Dosha Dushti. Sroto Dushti refers to nothing but Dosha Dushti. and Shrota Dushti should be assessed through Dosha Dushti itself, Lakshana itself. Now, how does dosha moves? We said there is no Shrotas required for dosha to move. Now, how does it move? Where does it move? Rasa is in relation with every Shrotas. Rasa is in relation with every Shrotas, right? So, very clearly told by both the Bhagavatas, Pratirogam iti kruddha rogadishtanam kamini rasayani prapadyashu dosha dehe vikruvate. Dushta dosha spreads all over the body through the rasayani. What is rasayani? Rasayanyo, rasavahinyo, damanyaha, siraha. Rasayani refers to rasavahini, sira or damani, nothing but shrotas. Further, that is Ashtanghrada Nidana first chapter, and Nidana second chapter. Bhagavata further clarifies by saying asanna vivrutasyattvat srotasam rasavahinam ashu sarvasya vapusho vyaptir doshena jayati. Further clarifies why it moves in rasa. Why it moves in rasa only? Because asanna vivrutasyattva. He justifies his statement even in the previous statement. He says asanna vivrutasyattva. Asanna asya. That means dosha pradhana sthana is post. That is ahar rasa. Ahar rasa, then it reaches the hridaya, then it is rasa. Till then it is ahar rasa. So ahar rasa and rasa is almost similar. And asana mukha refers to adjoining shrutas to the dosha pradhana sthana. And vivrutasyattva, vivruta mukha, vivruta, it is always patent. If you eat 10 times also, intestine digests and sarakita is absorbed or whatever. But because it is patent always, vivrutasyattva, it is always patent, right? So asanna vivrutasyattva. So dosha easily enters the rasa of shrutas and thereby spreads through the rasa. And of course, these statements, why Bhagavata said, it is basically from Charaka. Charaka says, Shipyamanaha kave gunyat rasa sajjati yatra saha karoti vikritim tatra khe varshamiva thoyada. So that means he says, dosha moves in the rasa only. And wherever the stagnation takes place, there disease manifests. Okay, and the commentator clarifies, raso api hi vikara karani ashrayataha vyaptriyati. Rasa vaha shrotas is ashay for all the disease. Rasa vaha shrotas is ashay for all disease because all the shrotas once again for its nourishment depends upon us. So through that only rasa dosha also moves. So now we know that rasa means rasa rakta adi dravadhat. We have discussed already, and let me move. So now Sroto Dushti Lakshana. Sroto Dushti Lakshana. We have a description of Sroto Dushti Lakshana. Ati pravrittir sango va siranam grantayo apiva vimaragamanam 4. Right? So generally we say ati pravritti. Everybody knows. I need not explain. Sangha once again I will not explain. Sangha once again I would like to highlight that is luminal obstruction in the lumen as such. Obstruction by the lumen, this spasm in the lumen, like such manifestation, or extraluminal pathology. Something is pressure on the lumen, right? That is Sangha. Then Siranam Grantayaha. Siranam Grantayaha, you will get two commentaries. You will get two commentary, one from Charaka Sutra 26. Charaka Sutra 26, where Chakrapani says, Damani Pratichaya Siraja Granthi. Damani Pratichaya. So that is nothing but atherosclerosis, right? Then, so that's the reason intraluminal obstructions. Intraluminal obstruction is Siraja Granthi. Luminal and extraluminal pathology is all about Sangha. Then Vimarga Gamana, everybody knows. And if you go through the Vagbata, once again similar description, where the commentator says Srotasam Grantayaha refers to Srotasam Kutila Bhavatvam. Srotasam Kutila Bhavatvam. Generally we compare with the varicose vein and all. That is tortuous vessel. We should move beyond that. Beyond varicose vein, it is aneurysm, possibility of aneurysm, and Kutila Sira, that is bronchiectasis. Even the intestine diverticulosis, Kutila Sira, diverticulosis, we have to consider the subject in that way, understand the subject in that way. Now, Srotas and Nidana. So before start speaking about Srotas and Nidana, we have to recollect some of the information regarding the Nidana. After understanding that only, we have to read Nidana related with the Srotas. That is Asatmendriya Sanyoga, Prajnaparada, Parinama, could be Dosha Hetu, Vyadhi Hetu or Ubhaya Hetu. Asatmendriya Sanyoga, Prajnaparada, Parinama or Bahya Hetu or Vyavahita Hetu, Ave, Vyavahita. Then Dosha, that is Vata Pitta Kapha. Then Rajatama. And Dusha refers to Dhatu, Upadhatu, Mala, Indriya, Avayava, Ashaya, Manas, Ojas, everything are Abhyantar Hetu or Pratyasar. From the point of disease, Dosha is nearest to us, Pratyasar. From the point of disease, Bahya Hetus are away, Vyavahita, like that. Anyway, now some controversy descriptions, one textbook, another textbook. So that's the reason I have clarified. I tried to clarify this issue. So from the point of dosha prakopa, Sannikrishta is achaya purva, without chaya, directly, dosha kopa, right? And Viprakrishta is chaya purvaka, accumulation, then kopa, right? Whereas from the point of vyadi, Sannikrishta is abhyantara, that is dosha dusha, abhyantara. And Viprakrishta is all by head. So accordingly, we have to read our text. Otherwise, it is many times it's confusing. So I'm just summarizing. I have summarized these issues. Then Pradhanika Nidana is Vyadhi Hetu. Vyabhichari Hetu is only Dosha Hetu. Vyabhichari Hetu is only Dosha Hetu. Utpadaka Hetu is Vyadhi Hetu, acts as initiating factor. Vyanjaka Hetu is Dosha Hetu and acts as exciting or supportive to Utpadaka Hetu. Vyanjaka Hetu also acts as Pradhanika Hetu in pre-existing illness. In pre-existing illness, it acts as Pradhanika Hetu, right? So, time is the issue, right? Now, from this perspective, we will understand the Nidana of Sroto Dushti. So now we have a description, Samanya Nidana of Sroto Dushti, Aharasya Viharasya Syadosha Gune Samaha, Dhatu Vigunaschapit. So this is what we study, we mark this sloka and present in exam, all this. Now, these are nothing but Bahya. Aharasya Viharasya, we know that Syadosha Guna, Vata is Ruksha, if you take Ruksha access, Ruksha Guna, that Samana Dosha, Samana Guna, it is known to everyone. And Dhatu Viguna, Dhatu Virodhi means sometimes it is not opposite to Dhatu, something need not be opposite to Dhatu, it may be sometimes similar quality, such as Tiva Swapna will increase the meda and it is harmful. So maybe Samana Guna also going to harm. Virodhi means need not be always opposite, sometimes Samana is also going to harm. Now, Sroto Dushti Nidana, Sroto Dushti itself cannot be a cause of illness. It is the combination of multiple issues. That's the reason I categorize it as Abhyantara Nidana. And Abhyantara Nidana is Dosha Dhatu Mala Samsargat Ayatana Visheshat Nimitta Tascha Vikalpa. That is based on the Bahya Nidana. Dosha Dhatu Mala Samsarga with Ayatana Vishesha. That is Abhyantara Hetu for Sroto Dushti. You will understand this only by the exam. What I have written, to understand, you have to go through the examples. The example is Vatadi Dosha Rasadhatu Samsargat Jwaradayo Rasadisthana. Vatadi Dosha Rasa, that is Jwara. Vatadi Dosha Rasadhatu Purisha Mala Samsargat Atisar. Vatadi Dosha Rasa Purisha Mala Atisar. Vatadi Dosha Rasadi Dosha Mutra Mala Samsargat Vimshati Meha. Further, Vatadi Dosha Rakta Dhatu Samsargat Vata Rakta Rakta Pitta Vidrati Rakta Gunmadaya. So that's what it is, not a Shrotas Nidana directly disease. No, it is a conglomeration of multiple factors. Dosha Dusha. That's what multiple factors. You should not say it is Sroto Dushti itself ultimate, right? So now Now moving on to the specific Nidana explained for 13 Shrotas. And these Nidana, you will get hardly 2 lines sloka in Charaka Samhita. And Vagbhatta has given description for only few, that is Prana, Anna, Udaka, you will get description. And for Rasadi, Saptadhatu, only one big line slokas. And then Mutra Svedadi, nothing, no description. That means this description is only the guidelines, it is not the complete list that I would like to highlight. Now, I would like to understand this particular reference from the point of dosha hetu and vyati hetu. That is the best way to understand clinically from the point of clinics. From the point of clinics, we have to understand in that way. Now, in this slide, you can see some of the kshayat is masked, srotamsya anishcha darune is masked. Similarly, dhatuksha is masked. What are these remaining? What are these remaining? They are all dosha. And similarly, now only the masked are visible, others are disappear now. So now they are all vyadhi here, right? They are all vyadhi here. So now let me give a few examples for vyadhi here. Dosha hetu I will speak later. Okay, vyadhi here. Now kshayat, what is kshayat? Now we have a example of rajakshma. Kshayat, rajakshma. Okay, we will speak about rajakshma. We know that sahasam sandaranam kshayo vishamashanam. There are 4 reasons for rajakshma. There are 4 reasons for rajakshma. What are these Nidana? It is nothing but chikitsopayogi viprakrishna karanam chaturvidamaha. They are viprakrishna karana for vyadhi. So viprakrishna is always, I said it is dosha. Still I mentioned it as vyadhi in this slide, right? I will come to that point. Now, these 4 are Bahetu, 4 are Chayapurvaka, Viprakrishta Nidana from the point of Dosha Prakopa, 4 Ayatana are Viprakrishta and Baya Nidana, 4 Ayatana are Vyabhichari Hetu and Vishets only Dosha, and 4 Ayatana are Vyanjaka Hetu and Dosha Hetu and acts as supportive for Utpadaka Hetu. Supportive for Utpadaka. What is the Utpadaka Hetu? Utpadaka Hetu is Rajakshma is a contagious illness. Right? It's a contagious illness. We have a description. Prasangat, Gata Samsparshat, Nishwasat, Sabhojanat. There you know that it's Shoshascha. You know that Shoshascha. And how the mode of spread is explained in Charaka itself, in Sharirasana. That is Nitya Yoga Sparshanendriya contact or Granendriya. Droplet infections. Right? It spreads through that. Further, if you go through Rajakshma in Sushruta Uttara, the mythological story, very clearly Dalana said, elaborated, Tato Daksha Prajapate Krodha Nishwasa Rupena Murtiman Bhutva Nistritya Yakshma Rupena Urohinyam Ati Prasangena Avilam Chandram Avishati. Chandra had excess quarters with the Rohini Nakshatra. And because of that, there was Dhatuksha in Chandra. And Daksha Prajapati got angry and by his Nishwasa, droplet infection, Chandra got Rajakshma. So very clearly, those who are weak, them only this Pradhanika Hetu, that Utpadak Hetu acts, otherwise it won't. It won't. So that's the reason I have highlighted this. Okay. So let me move on to next slide. Then Srotamsya Anishcha Dharane, that is Bahya Hetu, trauma, all traumas. We have a description of Posta Vidya Lakshana, Posta Vidya, above Nabi, below Nabi, above Nabi, blood from orifices, different orifices, all this Posta Vidya Lakshana, that is penetrating wound trauma to chest. Then we have a blunt trauma, that is Gorakshnath, that is Gorakshnath, blunt trauma. That is description. I will skip these slides. And to summarize this, there is a description, Sroto Gate, Srotasam, Swa Karma Gunaha. Whenever there is a trauma, either Swa Karmani, that is functional derangement, or Gunaha means structural derangement. That is, Guna means Mardhavadi. It's structural derangement and functional derangement depending upon the Adhisthana. Depending upon the Adhisthana, right? So that's it. To simplify that. This is a description from Sushruta Sutra 17th as well as Ashtanga. Similarly, you have Anitana in text for Rasa to Shukra, and I told you just now, Vagbata told in one big line for all 7, right? So these are just guidelines. Once again, you have some are must, they are all Doshayatu. Now many are must, now all these are Vyadhihetu, right? Now, I will elaborate only few Vyadhihetus. Now Viruddha. Viruddha. Why Viruddha is Vyadhihetu? Viruddhahara is considered as Vyadhihetu. Vyadhihetavastu Viruddhashanam Kustasya. Why Vyadhihetu? So Viruddha, the description says, Sushruta, you have to go to Sushruta only for this. Yatkinchit doshamutveshya puttam kayatna nirharet prasadishu ayatartam va tadvikaraya kalpate. Sushruta says, just like Shodra Dravya, this is also going to aggravate the dosha, but not going to eliminate, that is in Viruddha. But he also says, Rasadishu ayatartam va, it can directly bring about derangement in all the dhatu. Prasad, right? And further, Dalana clarifies, na kevalam doshakaram eva vyadaye bhavati apitu rasadi dhat dushikaram api vyadaye bhavati. Not only it vitiates the dosha, it can directly. How? He says, Visishta Shakti Dravyana. Viruddha Dravya has a Visishta Shakti, special power, special capacity of the Dravya that can bring about derangement in the dhatu. So you have an example now. So Viruddha is a combination. Asatmya is single Dravya. Viruddha is a combination causing asatmya, unwholesome to the body. Asatmya is single Dravya, unwholesome. Viruddha in combination, unwholesome, right? In Agada, Dushi is asatmya, Gara is Viruddha, right? Only the language, dharma is different. Agada people say like that, and Kaya, Rogalidana, we say like this, Asatmya and Viruddha, right? Now, in the context of Prameha, that to Charaka says, Pragati Bhuyastva. Tridosha gets vitiates, particularly Kapadosha vitiates. How? Pragati Bhuyastva. What is Pragati Bhuya? He gives 2 reasons. Chakrabarti gives 2 reasons. One is, either the person is taking excess Kapakara Ahara, Asya Sukha, Sapna Sukha, we know that. Or he says, Tata Prameha Karana Shakti Yoga Cha Tata Prakupyati. Dravya having the special capacity to bring about Prameha. We know that tapioca in Kerala, in tapioca eaters, one area, tapioca eaters, their diabetes is high. The incidence of diabetes is high. That's what Prameha Karana Shakti Yoga Cha Dravya. Sometimes Dravya has a special capacity to bring about a derangement in the dhatu. Now, Viruddha is over now. About Abhishangi, once again I have considered as specific Vyadhihetu because now what is Abhishandi? There is a beautiful description in Sushruta Sutra 245th. He says, Anyetu anyatha kritva patanti taduchyate radayasya anna niryasa vahi srotamsi yat. Radayasya anna niryasa vahi. Anna niryasa vahi. Radayasta anna niryasa vahi means rasavashuddhas. Anna rasa reaches Radaya, then it is rasa. Radayasya anna niryasa vahi means rasavashuddhas. Radayasta anya niryasa vahi srotamsi yat bhuktam limpati. Whatever we have ingested, limpati, sticking to that. Okay, bhuktam limpati paichilya because of stickiness. Okay, Abhishandi Tadusha. That is Abhishandi. That is nothing but the Samprapti of Etheric. Samprapti of Etheric is beautifully mentioned as Abhishandi. That itself is a cause for many diseases, and you have a description in Viruddha context in Charaka. He says, Mahabhishanti, Chilachima, fish with milk. Right? You know that example, everybody tells that example in exams. That Shonita Abhishandi, Damani Pratichaya. That itself is a cause for Shonita Abhishandi, Damani Pratichaya, atherosclerosis, and the consequences. Right? Further. And 3. This is Putra Udakasveda, here Dosha Hetu. Similarly, Vyadhi Hetu, Krisha. Now all these Nidana and directly disease, and sometimes disease itself is a cause for another disease. Disease itself is a cause for another disease. That's what if you go through Charaka, differential diagnosis of Krisha is mentioned in Charaka. DD for differential diagnosis for Krisha, that is Priya Kasa Kshaya Shwasa Gulma Arsho Udaranicha Krisham Prayo Abhidavanti Rogascha Grahani Gata. In Bhava Prakasha, Grahani Mukha Roga also in another cause for Krisha. So these are the differential DD for Krisha. So now one disease is a cause for another disease. That is what Paraspara Anubandhi Roga. Krisha or Durbala Agni, they are all Paraspara Anubandhi Roga, or we can also call it as Nidanartaka Roga or Upadrava. That description we have to understand such Nidana. Then Sheena, very interesting description in Charaka. Very interesting description in Charaka. That is Raktaja Mutra Kricha is explained by Charaka only, not by Sushruta or Varpata. Raktaja Mutra Kricha. And Raktaja Mutra Kricha, only two Nidanas are explained. One is Kshata, another is Kshaya. Right? Kshata and Kshaya. That he says, Kshatajam Kshaya Dva. What is Kshaya? The commentator says, that is Ati Vyavad Sukrakshayo Sati Vayuno Dirya Bastimaniya Tasmin Ati Rakte Sanchiti. It is Pratilomakshaya, Rajakshma. And if you go through Pratilomakshaya of Rajakshma, once again similar description. So renal tuberculosis. They have identified and named it as Raktaja Mutra Kricha. So now, to summarize this section, it is this much only. Doshadat mala samsargat ayatana visheshat nimittatascha tasya esham vikalpaha. That's all. Next. Dosha hetu and vyadhi. Now, another important thing. Many a time when we speak to patient in a clinic, you ate this because of it there is exacerbation. Right? Simply we somehow find out reasons and we will tell. No, now it is not true. We should not do like that. We have to understand what is the role of dosha hetu, what is the limitations of dosha hetu. Now you know that nacha kevalam hita aharayo upayoga deva. So I will not read out the sloka because I'm running out of time now. So hita ahara sevana need not protect from the disease at all clinical situations. That's a discussion from Charak. Similarly, ahita ahara sevana need not result in a disease at all clinical situations. A person doing all nonsense, he is fine. And a person is following every diet, everything, still he is suffering. We come across with such people. Charaka also said. And further, nahi sarvani apattani tulya doshani nacha sarve dosha tulya pala. This also we read. That's the answer for that. Okay. Further, there is an example given by Indu. There is one more example given by Indu, where he says, nahi marichasya raukshenayo dusto vayur yascha tasyeva lagavo tav. This is the sloka, big sloka. I will read out the meaning of this particular sloka, where it is said that the vata dosha prakopa by ruksha guna of maricha, pepper, and lagu guna of maricha will not be the same. The effect of vata dosha prakopa will not be same, because ruksha guna will increase its atma guna. Ruksha will be increased in the body, and ruksha will result in purukshata, results in shoshan and kaఠిన్యం. Similarly, lagu guna should bring about laguta in the sharira. The effect will be different. Similarly, the others also. Like the vata dosha has so many qualities to increase the vata. That is tikta, katu, kashaya, ruksha, lagu, shita, virudaka, vistambi, pranadanya, etc. There are so many number of nidana for vata prakop. So if you consider all these, the effect will be entirely different. You cannot predict anything. Right? The vata kopa by tikta, katu, virudaka, and all other will differ. And it is accepted in our routine practice. It is accepted that yatasthat dravyanam anuchita matradi visheshena prayuktam satyatoktena gunena kinchit kopayat. It is so accepted that any dravya is taken in anuchita matra, unknown some quantity, will accordingly vitiate the dosha. It is accepted. You ate this, that's the reason this disease. We say, right? It is accepted, but it is not true. It is not true that Dravya should vitiate one dosha at one time, at a given time. And Dravya, why? Dravya is made up of aneka karana. Dravya is rasa, guna, virya, vipaka. Prabhava is Dravya. All 5 qualities, Dravya. So when there are multiple factors for a Dravya, how can we say this factor has resulted in this? We cannot, right? So then Hindu further says, Bandhu, Kim Bandhu Vargena Karita Shapatam. Kim Bandhu Vargena Karita, is it a will written by a family member? After my death, my property goes to myself. I have written it like will. So is there any such a rule that one driver should act in this way only? Is there any rule? He says like that. Then how does a Dravya acts in any individual? How does a Dravya acts in an individual? He gives the reasons. He says, Gunantarena Sadrishena Vilakshena va Prabhavadi Birva Tameva Doshantaram Neva va Prakopaitam. The vitiation of by a Dravya in the body, vitiation of dosha by a Dravya in the body is based on several factors. This is all about Samprapti part. This is all about Samprapti part. That's what Sadrishena Gunantara. Sadrishena Gunantara means Prakriti Sama Samavaya. That's Ruksha Guna. Or sometimes Vilakshanena Gunantara. That is Vikriti Vishama Samavaya. Sometimes Prabhavadi Virva. Sometimes Doshantara. Doshantara means Samsarga, Sannipata, Ashaya Pakarsha, Marga Varana, Mahavarana, so many things. So you cannot predict anything based on the dosha here. That's the reason I have not elaborated in my talk. Further, a big topic. Should stop. Thank you. In 5 minutes, I will wait. 5 minutes, I will wind up. So disease manifested out of a single dosha, where a relatively less number of nidana might result in a disease, though the nidana pertaining to other dosha are more in the same individual. At a given time, a patient is there in your clinic. If you take the list of nidana, there are multiple nidana pertaining to some other dosha, by which he is not suffering. Only 1 or 2 nidana is there, and he is suffering from that disease. How come? So that means it is not the number of dosha hetu, it is the capacity of the dravya to produce the illness. So that is the ability of the pradhanika hetu. Ability refers to the pradhanika hetu, utpadaka hetu, or venjaka hetu, or vyati hetu. We need to understand not the dosha hetu. Dosha hetu, yes, dosha. That's it. We should not relate it with the vyati. Right? Then effect of nidana in an individual based on several factors, such as that is Bahya Nidana, Abhyantara Nidana, how it affects that Anugata, Uttana Dhatu, Gambhira Dhatu, we have to consider Shaka, Kosta, Marma, Sisanda, Prana, Yatana, all that we have to consider. Nitya Samsleshita dosha and Paricheta dosha, that is Nitya Samsleshita dosha means chronic illness. Paricheta means one disease comes and goes, fever comes and goes, Paricheta dosha. That's it. Then Upakrama, Samakriya, Vishamakriya, based on these factors, once again, the effect of Nidana varies. Further, effect of Nidana in an individual is based on several factors such as Yoni. Right? Right. Not all the Nidana will have a similar clinical implication into genesis, the dosha, and morbidity of dosha. Several supportive factors may be contributing, such as Desha, Kala, Sanyoga, Virya, Pramana. Right? Desha, Vrihi is known to aggravate the pitta. Right? And he says in Anupadesha, Vrihi is highly morbid. Whereas in Dhanvantari to Hina Palabhav. Dhanvantari, not that. Vrihi, they can eat. Okay? Whereas Kala, Sharat Kala, highly morbid. In Hemant Rutu, that you can't see that much effect. Similarly, Sanyoga, if you take Vrihi along with Dadi, Panita, it is highly morbid. Once again, if you take with the Madhu, its effect is less. Right? Vrihi, Ushnikrita Vrihi is highly morbid. Shaityaka Davri is it is durbala, right? Pramana, if you take in excess, highly morbid. If you take in less quantity, not that. So, effect of dravya over dosha hetu, effect of dosha hetu, any dravya as a dosha hetu, no, you cannot relate with the any srotas anywhere, right? With this, probably I may have to conclude. So, in this one last portion, I will stop. So, that is Purusha. Why a person do not get a disease, even if there is Nidana, that one small topic is there. Anyway, time is up. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to share my.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Niranjan S. Acharya, sir, to provide concluding remark of this session.
Any questions?
Good afternoon to everyone. Respected dignitaries present in this seminar. Sir is my teacher also. And to be frank, I came here to see my brother and the sir. The thing is, I am not the right person. But to be frank, I am not the right person to comment anything on Sir's version because Sir is having extraordinary knowledge, voracious knowledge. If now I would like to say, actually, most of the students may not understand the thing in detail because you are not well versed in Sanskrit. Okay, if you want to study the science, if you want to learn Ayurveda, you should be very well versed in the Sanskrit knowledge. Then only you can understand the science much better. Like sir has understood the science very well. Okay, and sir has elaborately mentioned about how we can understand Srotas as channel, how we can understand Srotas as the artery and even the capillary bed. Sir has given with proper explanation from the Samhita or commentary itself. Okay, and not only that, even Margada Srotas and Sthanastha Srotas also he has explained very well. And even the concept of dosha hetu as well as vyadhi hetu, with the description of science only, he has explained a lot. And he has given certain examples also, Pandu and Kamala. How Kamala, we say that the reason of Kamala is only Pandu. But how Jwara can also lead to Kamala, there is a description even in our science also. So the sir has taken that reference. Sir tried to unravel the or describe the context which has been mentioned in Samhitas, particularly commentaries. So I would like to say you students that if you want to understand Ayurveda, study well Sanskrit. Of course, you try to read the Samhita in Sanskrit itself. If you study the Samhita in Sanskrit, now you slowly you will understand the science of Ayurveda. This I'd like to thank Mogasale sir for his very well explanation regarding the concept. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I would like to invite uh, Colonel Dr. Rajesh, sir, to felicitate Dr. Prasanna Mogasale, sir, with memento and certificate. I would like to invite Dr. Gopi Krishna, sir, to felicitate Dr. Niranjan S. Acharya sir and Dr. Nitin Krishnan sir.
Now I request Dr. Rajesh sir to felicitate Dr. Anamika with
Niranjan Acharya. Dr. Niranjan. Dr. Niranjan Acharya.
I request Dr. Gopi sir to felicitate our chairperson. I request Dr. Rajesh sir to felicitate our co-chairperson for today's session. Now I request Dr. Rajesh sir to felicitate session in charge for today's session, Dr. Anamika, with certificate. I request Dr. Gopi sir to felicitate Asma Charak batch. She was reporter for today's session.
मैं देख रही थी ना यार
एग्जीबिशन का
मैम आप बता दीजिए अच्छा पहले रुक जाओ मैं फाइंड कर दूं सेशन को
next session announcement. Or next session.
I express sincere gratitude for Dr. Prasanna Mogasale sir for his deliberation, Dr. Niranjan S. Acharya sir to chair the session, and Dr. Nitin Krishnan sir to co-chair the session. Thank you for listening. Hence end the scientific session.
First, did you enjoy? I know that our students, GGM students, they cannot penetrate anything here because just now, just 2 months ago, just they entered the second prof and all the 200 people are there in the first BMS. So they cannot understand this. But the outsider delegates, they enjoyed, I think. Yes, no? Okay. So you should tolerate this. I cannot that unavoidable circumstances because these are all the topic is there. The Nidana is concerned in the second prof. Just now we enter that on the third, but you know that on how we can learn about that on all the Nidanas. What's there that Dr. Prasanna Mogasale they are explained very well. And I just recollect that on our Guruji, that on G. Srinivas Acharya sir. I think that he is a student of that Guru also. He is a well-renowned person of that G. Srinivas Acharya. Now that he is no more now. And just remember it. Thank you. Thank you.
Dear delegates, we have a tea break for 20 minutes, and we will assemble in the for the oral presentations in the lecture halls in the college. And meanwhile, we request you to visit our exhibitions outside, different stalls also. Well, after having tea, and the scientific oral and presentations will start sharply 4:30. Only oral presentation today.